Namaskar friends, welcome to lesson number 25 in our course on processing of polymers and polymer composites. Let us take a brief review of what we have covered in case of polymer composites. We have covered the fundamental aspects of composite, classification of composite materials, then we have seen the challenges in context of polymer matrix composites, and then we have tried to understand the basic principles of techniques that are used for processing of polymer based composites or polymer matrix composites, and sometimes also called as the fiber reinforced plastics. We have seen that the broad principle of any processing technique that is used for processing of polymer composites is that we have to combine the fiber and the polymer together. The fiber is the reinforcing agent and the polymer is the matrix that provides a bulk to the composite material. So basically we have to see in every technique that how we can combine the fiber and the polymer together, and we have seen that we can have either closed mold processes or open mold processes. We have seen examples of both types, and we have seen that for closed mold processes we have better control, better quality, and the processes are compression molding, injection molding, resin transfer molding, and there are other processes also. These three we have already covered. Whereas in case of open mold processes we have seen that hand layup, which is the most widely used process, then there is spray layup process which is used for short fiber reinforcement. Today we are going to study pultrusion, which is another process which is commercially used for processing of parts which have constant cross section or uniform cross section. So we will see that it is a long product manufacturing process, so the length of the product is not a limitation in case of the pultrusion process. Now let me try to explain you the name of this process, that is pultrusion, from where the word pultrusion is coming. Just as a layman we can try to understand that first three words or first three alphabets, if we remove PUL and we put EX, the process becomes extrusion. So in extrusion process we have seen, in extrusion of polymers we have tried to understand that what we do in extrusion. In extrusion we put our pellets in the hopper, and then we have seen the design of the screw also. In case of extrusion process we push the molten plastic through the nozzle into the die, and then it comes out as a continuous cross section. So extrusion process is a simple process for processing of polymers in which we take the pellets in the hopper, bring them down into the barrel has heating arrangement all around the periphery, and inside it has got a screw arrangement, and this rotating screw helps in shearing of the polymer pellets, heating of the polymer pellets, and it pushes the polymer pellets, molten polymer pellets towards the exit, and the exit we have a die through which the constant cross section product is coming out, and the length of the product is not a limitation. So that is the process of extrusion. Now how pultrusion is related to extrusion? In pultrusion process the basic principle will remain the same. Only thing is that we have to see that how the fibers can also be added along with the polymer, and moreover we have to see that how the product will be coming out of the heated die. So that is the only difference that we have to understand, which extrusion process does not have. In extrusion the material is pushed by the rotation of the screw. Here we will see the product is pulled out of the die. So pulling action is designed in the machine so that the product is pulled from the machine, and therefore the name pultrusion. So you can very easily remember that why we are calling this process as pultrusion. It is opposite of extrusion. In extrusion we are pushing the material, whereas in case of pultrusion we are pulling the material. So that is the basic difference between the two from the name point of view, from the definition point of view. But otherwise we will see that in the process details there are number of variations, and if you remember the extrusion process as applied to the metals materials, there also in almost all variants of the extrusion process, the metal is pushed and then it comes out of the die and it takes a uniform cross section, and length of the product is not much a limitation in case of extrusion of metals. So extrusion process is done for metals, extrusion process is done for polymers, and extrusion process is also done for polymer composites, where we can put our fibers and poly pellets in the hopper and they can come into the barrel because of the action of gravity, and in the barrel because of the heat the polymer melts, the fibers then travel, this mixture of fiber and polymer travels with the motion of the screw, by the rotation of the screw, and then it is pushed out of the die, and the final shape of the product depends upon the shape of the die, and finally the material is pushed out and we get our product. So extrusion process can also be applied for processing of polymer composites and specifically short fiber composites. But here we are going to see pultrusion process. In pultrusion we will always get a product which will be continuous fiber, and the strength of the product will be very good because on account of or because of the continuous fiber reinforcement that we are able to achieve in case of the pultrusion process. So the name itself is clearly indicating that this is similar to extrusion, only difference being that we are going to pull the product from the opposite side. Now let us try to understand the basic intricacies of this process. So pultrusion process, it is an automated process. We will also try to understand it with the help of a diagram as well as a simulation or the animation. So automated process for manufacturing of composite materials into continuous cross section profiles. So the cross section of the product that we will achieve from pultrusion will definitely be uniform cross section. It was developed around 1950, just a historical perspective of the pultrusion machine. It was developed for making fishing rods of glass fiber reinforced polymer. So glass fiber will be in the continuous form, and then it is the reinforcing agent is the glass fiber, and the matrix in this case will be a polymer. So glass fiber reinforced polymer fishing rods were made initially 1950 using the process of pultrusion. It is usually grouped into two categories: solid rod and bark stock, as well as structural profiles. Now what are the raw materials that are basically used for pultrusion process? The reinforcement can be glass fiber, which can be E-glass or S-glass, then we can have carbon graphite fibers, aramid fibers, and the form of the reinforcement can be roving, or it can in special cases can be in the form of a mat or a fabric also. But generally we use the reinforcement in the form of rovings, which comes from, we mount these rovings on the creel, and from the creel the fiber filaments come and then they are preformed into a particular shape before feeding them into the resin tank. So that we will try to understand it with the help of a diagram, but the reinforcement in this case can be in the mat form also, and the type of fibers are already shown. Matrix can be polyester, phenolics, polyvinyl ester, polyamides and epoxy. So from the names I think, and today we are into our session number 25, the learners must be able to very easily guess that what type of polymer is being used here. So all the examples mostly are thermosetting. So therefore we can say that pultrusion process is most commonly used for thermosetting type of resin systems. Now what are the steps followed in the pultrusion process? Let us first see the steps and then we will go to the diagram. The first step is the reinforcement handling system. So where we can see I have already used this word creel, C-R-E-E-L. So the creel is used to mount the rovings, and from the rovings we will get our fiber, which is the first requirement for the pultrusion process. So reinforcement is in terms of fiber. The fibers can be glass, carbon, graphite fiber, glass can be E-glass, S-glass, and the fiber is woven on a we can say bobbin or a creel, and this creel will help us, or the roving will help us to get our fiber for the process. Then the second stage is the fibers are coming from the creel. The second is the resin impregnation. So we need to have a resin tank. So here we are calling it as a resin impregnation station, where the fibers will get wet, the fibers will get impregnated with the resin, that is the matrix. Then the material forming area, that is we have to get a particular shape of the product, because we have seen that in case of polymer processing there were three basic steps. First was melting of the polymer, second was deforming or giving shape to the polymer, third was the cooling stage. So here also we have to give a particular shape. The fibers are random, we can have the rovings, we can get the fibers in a particular direction, but finally we have to make a solid rigid product, and for that we need to give a particular shape as per the design of our product, and to give that shape we will have a particular die or a mold arrangement. Then components that heat and consolidate. So giving shape will not only make the product solid, what we need to do, we need to provide heat, we need to provide pressure, or we need to provide consolidation to this product so that it solidifies, it becomes solid and rigid. Equipment to pull the pultruded part, I think I have explained it in much detail that how the pultrusion process is different from the extrusion process. In pultrusion we are going to pull the material, so there has to be a pulling mechanism which will pull the final product out of the machine. So that is another arrangement that we have to provide. Then equipment to cut the pultruded part, as I have already told that pultrusion we can produce long profiles of uniform cross section. So depending upon the requirement of the length of the product, we will have a cutting mechanism which will cut the product as per the designed length. So these are the various systems of the pultrusion process that we need to manage, control in order to get a good quality pultruded product. On your screen you can see image which is available at Google. These are the rovings, you can see on the leftmost corner, these are the rovings. So many rovings are arranged here. So the fibers or fiber filaments are coming from the rovings. We can see a large array of fibers are coming from individual rovings, and finally they are being guided by the guide plate into the resin bath. This yellow color resin tank is there, which is providing the resin. So the fibers will get wet in this resin, or they will get impregnated with the resin, and finally they will move forward. There is a surfacing wheel which we can say is a top covering of the final product. So that will provide a covering on top of the pultruded product. So this is a surfacing wheel that is coming from this roll. In many cases the surfacing wheel may not be there, we may get a directly pultruded product because the forming die will give a very good surface finish to the product, but in specific cases we may opt for a surfacing wheel where we do not want the surface of the final product being exposed to the environment or being exposed to outside. Maybe during cooling or cutting it is not damaged, or the surface finish is not deteriorated during the pulling of the product. So therefore we may sometimes go for a surfacing wheel, which is not a mandatory requirement. Once our fibers have come, they have been impregnated in the resin system, they move forward and there is a forming and a curing die. This is the forming and a curing die in which we will supply heat also, and we will give a shape to our final product also. So there are two jobs which have to be accomplished in the forming and curing die. One is the solidification, another one is the deformation. Rather we should say first one is the formation of the product and followed by the curing, that is the solidification. So first is we have to give a particular shape to the product, and secondly we have to cure it so that that shape solidifies and become our final product. And then we can see the continuous profile or of uniform cross section, this yellow color profile are coming out of the forming and curing dies, and finally there is a pulling system which is continuously pulling these profiles from the forming and the curing die, and finally there is a cut off saw which is cutting the pultruded product as per the desired length. So this is a caterpillar type of pullers which are, it is a rotating type of mechanism which pulls the final product out of the curing and the forming die. So this is we can say a schematic representation of the pultrusion process, and here you can see another word, that is preformer. So before entering the forming and the curing die, the preformer will give a specific shape to the final product. The final shape is decided in the forming and the curing die. So basically you can see, as we have already tried to understand, there is a reinforcement management system here, or reinforcement system, then there is a resin impregnation system, then there is formation and curing system, then there is pulling system, and then there is cutting system. So basically for any manufacturing process, any processing technique that is used for processing of polymer based composites, especially fiber reinforced composites, we have to learn that how we can combine the fiber and the polymer together, and in this diagram we can see the fiber and the polymer are getting combined, and after being passing through the preformer, they are entering into the forming and the curing die where the product is getting solidified, and finally it is being pulled out of the die and finally cut as per the desired requirement or desired length of the product. Now this was the schematic diagram. Let us try to understand the mechanism with the help of an animation, which will further make it clear that how the process actually happens. We can see here, this is the pultrusion setup. It is a large size setup. So here we see these are the rovings. Fiber yarns are pulled through a resin bath, wetting the fibers. This is a resin bath. Fibers are coming from here and getting wet in the resin impregnation system. After being wet, a series of die forms the shape of the pultrusion profile. So this series of dies can be called as the preformer as per our schematic diagram. So these preformers will give shape to the fibers which are already impregnated with the resin. So they are moving forward. There are 2 or 3 series of these preformers, and then finally this is the die. We can see the temperature set is 200 degree. Within the die you can see this is the movement of the pultruded profile. Finally the pultruded profile is coming out from here. Here it is hot as well as is giving the shape. This is a mechanism for pulling the material. It is continuous rotation of belts, and this is the cutting mechanism where the saw cuts the profile to a determined length, predetermined length. So it is cutting the profile, and these are the final profiles, hollow profiles or hollow cylindrical profiles made by the pultrusion process. So we can see the video once again just to have a overview that how the process unfolds and how the fiber and the polymer is combined together. The fiber is coming from this fiber stand. These are the fibers moving. This is a resin bath. The fibers move through the resin bath. Then these are preformers which are giving shape as per the final design requirement. And this is the final die. Temperature is shown, it is under hot condition, and this is giving the final shape to our product. Hot die, and finally the product is being pulled by these 2 belts. The product is being pulled out and finally it will be cut by the cut off saw. As per the predetermined length. So I think the process is absolutely clear now. So we have different arrangements in the pultrusion process. If you see, first of all we have the fiber arrangement, then the resin impregnation system, then the preforming system, then the die forming and the curing die, then we have a pulling mechanism, and finally we have a cutting mechanism. So the whole system will help us produce profiles of constant cross section, uniform cross section, and the length of the product is not a limitation in case of a pultrusion process. Now let us try to see the advantages of the pultrusion process. High throughput rate. So the production, as we can see, is fully automated, so we can produce at a very large volume, so it is can be used for mass production. High throughput rate, high material usage, low process waste, part is net. So I think in the last to last session I have tried to explain the near net part. So near net part means the final product is exactly the product which we have designed and that we are going to use, that it may not require any further processing. So near net part is being produced. So here once the near net part is produced, it means the fiber that we are using, the resin that we are using, or the polymer that we are using is getting utilized efficiently and effectively. There is no wastage of the material happening in case of pultrusion process. It is able to use wide variety of reinforcement types, forms and styles with many thermosetting resins and fillers. So the process is quite versatile. So we can use different types of fibers here, and not only the types but the forms of the fibers can also be different. And as you might remember that in the today's session only in the beginning I have told that the process can also be used for matte type of reinforcement. So we can have matte type, we can have roving type, we can have maybe cut out strands, but it should be in the matte form, means the continuity of the fiber has to be maintained, and if we are able to maintain that continuity of the fiber, we can very easily protrude the profile and get a final product. So not only the types are different like carbon, glass or aramid, but the form of the fiber that we can use is also different. Then complex thin walled shapes can be fabricated, traditionally extruded in aluminum or PVC. So we can get thin walled shapes as a final product that we have seen in case of our pultruded profile in the animation. The wall thickness was not that high, so the complex thin walled shapes can be pultruded. Can fabricate extremely large parts. So large means here long, as well as the diameter can also be higher. So it can help us to fabricate long uniform cross section products. Can fabricate any transportable length part. So the length of the product that we can produce from the pultrusion process is not a limitation, only limitation is the transportation. So if we can transport large parts, the process is capable of producing large lengths of the product using the basic principle of pultrusion. Now there are disadvantages also, limitations of the process also. If you see, the cross section is one of the challenges. I have explained it in the beginning also that this process is used for uniform cross section products only. So if the cross section of the product is varying or it is wavy, it is difficult to process using the pultrusion process. So the cross section must generally be uniform in case of pultrusion. That is one limitation. It is difficult to maintain the tight tolerances, that is another limitation. The dimensional stability, the tolerance limit sometimes may not be achieved as per the requirement or as per the design requirement. Quick curing resin systems typically have lower mechanical properties. Now this point is important from the point of view that we have to cure our resin in the designed length of the die only. if you see, the fibers are coming and getting impregnated in the resin tank, and then through the preformer they are entering into the die, and finally we are getting our final product, which is solid. So where the curing is taking place, where the polymerization is taking place, how the product is getting solidified. So that is, solidification is happening only in that zone only, starting from the preformer to the exit of the product from the curing die. So that is our major challenge. We have to ensure the curing solidification of the product within that designed length only. So the quick curing resins have to be used, and the resins which cure very quickly are typically having low mechanical properties. So that is also a limitation. And if you remember, in hand layer process, which is also used for thermosetting type of plastic materials, we have seen that the curing may take even 24 days for the product to solidify. So in here we are making a product maybe in few minutes. So we can see that the resin system or the polymer that we will use in this case has to be a quick curing system, and the quick curing system will sometimes compromises with the mechanical properties of the product. So that is another limitation, and very important limitation in case of pultrusion process. Complexity of the process, that is also a limitation. Problems resulting from resin and fibers accumulating and building up at the die entrance. And if you remember the simulation that we have seen, there were a series of preformers. So though those preformers are designed in such a way that there is no build up of the fibers at the entrance of the die, and the product in sequence or in steps takes the shape before it enters into the die or the curing die. So the problems resulting from resin and fibers accumulating and building up at the die entrance have to be avoided, and it is a serious limitation in case of pultrusion. Parts are run resin rich to account for fiber anomalies, strength is sacrificed. And this I have been highlighting in the previous processes also, and we have seen that wherever we have high fiber volume fraction, we have good mechanical properties. But in case of pultrusion, in order to avoid the problems associated with the fibers, sometimes we tend to make a product which is rich in the polymer or the resin. So resin rich products that we are making will definitely sacrifice some of the mechanical properties of the final product. So that is another disadvantage. Similarly, the voids may result in parts if excessive opening is given at the die entrance. Now, in order to avoid the build up of the fibers at the entrance of the die, we may exercise control that we may open up or give additional opening at the die entrance, but that will lead to accumulation of air or maybe entrance of air, and voids may be there. So the voids may result in the parts if excessive opening is given at the die entrance. So that also is not maybe successful method for avoiding the build up of the fibers or the fiber anomalies during the pultrusion process. So if judiciously we select all the parameters and we design our system in such a way that all the important limitations are taken into account, the product that we will get will be of good quality. And these are the limitations, theoretical limitations from understanding point of view whenever we design this process for a new combination of fiber and the polymer. But the process which has already been optimized for specific combination of fibers and polymers is being run successfully and commercially, and we can see number of pultruded profiles all around us, may be not very common in India, but in all the countries across the globe. Pultrusion process is being commercially used for manufacturing of uniform cross section or products with uniform cross section. So with this we come to the end of our session on pultrusion, and we will cover another process which is a specific process for making the raw materials which can be used for further processing and making of the composite products. Thank you.